Ladies and gentlemen, our leader for today's interview is a well-known figure in the InfoSec community. People look up to him and take his advice seriously. He comes with close to 3 decades of working experience in managing information security, cybersecurity, IT risks, application security and production support, enterprise risk management, IT operations, business continuity, and project management. He's a great people manager and outstanding at managing annual budgets, headcounts, and vendor contracts. It is very evident from the recommendations that he has received on LinkedIn. His work experience has been with companies like Hexaware, Taos, California, Visa, Goldman Sachs, Societe Generale, BNP Paribas, and is currently the Director, Information Security and Risk at Alshaya Group, which has an employee base of close to 20,000 employees. Please welcome Patrick Pitchappa. Hi, Patrick. Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks for having me, Roshan.
Great. Excellent. And we now come to the next part, which is cybersecurity, a way of life. So, Patrick, do you think cybersecurity is a way of life going forward?
Absolutely. 100%. I think you put words in my mouth. Cybersecurity is a lifestyle. This is what I have been telling. Because, the last 2 years, again, taking the pandemic as an example, you are shopping online, you're doing your banking online, your children are studying online, you are doing medical consultations online, right?
Right.
And if you're not protecting yourself on the internet, then it becomes a big problem, right? So cybersecurity, you cannot say that, I will come into work, I'll have a strong password at work, but for Facebook, I will have a weak password. No, you cannot do that, because on Facebook, you are sharing a lot of stuff. You're sharing your vacation photos, you're sharing your celebrations. Facebook knows your birthday. Facebook knows where you live. Please.
Practically knows everything. Yeah.
So it is a lifestyle.
True. Now, Patrick, we do know that COVID accelerated, the intensity of cybersecurity solutions implementation. How big do you think it was before COVID? And now, of course, it's gone huge. But what do you think? Where were we at before COVID and after COVID?
So Zoom, we are on a Zoom call, right? I'll take Zoom as an example, and people at Zoom, please forgive me for this. Zoom was available as a free app for everybody, right? I know people who were using Zoom even before the pandemic hit.
Right.
The day the pandemic hit, guess what happened? Everybody was talking about Zoom. Zoom, everywhere it was Zoom, right?
True.
And lo and behold, Zoom made a big mistake.
Right.
Zoom made the app as a recreation or a fun app. I mean, although they had the paid version,
right.
The basic foundation on which Zoom was built was not on a secure platform, and we all know that, right? Zoom went through a severe problem with what was called Zoom bombing, where people could take over a session and they can send. Now, let's say your kid is on a Zoom call with school, and somebody takes over, a Zoom bombing session through a Zoom bomb, takes over the session and starts sending porn images to your kid. Imagine how that will make you feel.
True.
Right? And that happened. There was a board meeting going on. We know the story, right? There was a board meeting going on, and somebody hijacked that. And to the board members, suddenly they were all entertained with, I know sarcastically, with porn images, and it was disgusting, right? And we don't want to go into that. And Zoom, of course, made the remedial steps, but unfortunately, it was late. Teams, a relatively unknown product at the time, came in and just devoured Zoom. Today, all online classes are happening on Teams. Most of the corporate meetings are happening on Teams. And Teams just took the corporate world by, of course, Microsoft knows how to do that, but this was just an ammunition that they had, and Zoom actually shot themselves in the foot. They could have been that. They could have been Teams. Absolutely. But Zoom failed to go. So that tells you, right, how the difference between before the pandemic and after the pandemic, and how important cybersecurity became, and how important building secure products and secure software and secure websites became extremely important. Yeah.
True. So we do know that remote working is a norm now. Now, from a security perspective, how easy or difficult it was to pivot to providing access to your staff during the pandemic?
Initially, it was many industry sectors did not was not ready for work from home or work remotely. So many organizations that I know, even some banks, banks were, because of the regulators, they were supposed to be working from the office or from the branch, right? But then pandemic hit, and banks had to send some of the previous banks that I worked for, they had to send the desktops to the employees' homes so that people can hook up that desktop to their internet connection and continue to work. So that's how it started. But 2 years later, today we can look back and we can pat our backs and say, oh, we have done a good job, right?
Sure.
VPN connections, single sign-ons, multi-factor authentications, quite a bit of them have come on, which has made life easier. And the corporate strategy in itself is now looking at a hybrid model, right? I don't think we are going to go back 100%. Everybody going back to the office. Yeah, we will all eventually go back to the office. A lot of us have gone back to the office already. I worked from the office yesterday.
Right.
So things are slowly getting back to normal, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the pandemic will end sometime this year. Hopefully, again, and things will start. Right, things will restart. And but I think working remotely is going to continue. It's going to be a hybrid model. It's going to be what some companies call a flexi model. So the security part of it is going to continue. But we have come a long way. And today, our networks are much secure than what it was 2 years ago.
True. So, Patrick, where do you think the cyber security industry is today? In what stage? Especially from a cybersecurity services provider, what stage are they in? Low, mid, top? Are they gaining?
Service providers have become a part of the industry right now. There are several, if not dozens, I should say, small service providers, medium-sized service providers, and large service providers as well. So the large ones, we are talking about the big four companies, right? The KPMGs and the EYs of the world. But there are also smaller companies that you work with. Now, let's say for a for a security operations center, right, which has to monitor your network 24/7. Right. You need to take. It's better that you take one of these smaller service providers who give you the staff who can do this for you. Right. Building a security operation center in-house is going to be very difficult. You have to bring in very young professionals, and after a year they are bored with what they're doing. Just monitoring, how long will they do it? Let's face it. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it here. And they also have to have a career growth, and so attrition will be extremely difficult to manage. So it's better you go with a provider who can guarantee you that headcount and who can also guarantee you the service. So service providers are becoming part and parcel of cybersecurity, not only in tasks like the security operations center, but also in forensics, but also in offensive security, the red teaming exercises that I was talking about, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, architecture review, you name it. Everywhere today, security service providers have made their inroads, and this will continue to grow.
Right. Now, along with that, talking about cyber insurance. Now, we feel it's at a nascent stage in India, but where do you think it'll be in the few years to come?
It will become like your, I think eventually it will become like your vehicle insurance. You can't take the vehicle out of your dealership without an insurance. So I don't think you will be able to register a company without insurance. Eventually, that's where we will get to.
Wow.
When you register a company, you should show your insurance, cyber insurance, and only then your company registration will go through. We will get there. True. And within a few years, we will get there. Yeah.
True. Interesting. Now, you did mention cybersecurity industry is growing, but so are the attackers, right? They're also evolving. Now, what do you think organizations should do to stay ahead of them?
Last year, in one of my interviews to the cybersecurity magazine, I talked about this. See, the attackers are always 50 steps ahead of us, not 1 or 2 steps. Let's face it, they are 50 steps ahead of us. They the state of the art, bleeding edge technology that they use, none of us use. Okay, so that's the lesson. So when it comes to security budgets, companies have to be cognizant of all this. Okay, they cannot cut the budgets just for the sake of cutting. Yeah, I'm not saying that, okay, you go out and spend all the money that you have. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Look at your budget, look at your security posture. I was talking about the crown jewels previously, right? Are you adequately securing your crown jewels? This is a question the CEO, the CFO, COO should ask themselves. The board has to ask themselves. The board has to make sure that the cybersecurity budgets are given appropriately to keep up with the speed of these attackers. I know we will not be able to catch them, but at least having the right budgets can prevent them from catching us. That's what I would say. Okay. And CISOs, guys, don't go and ask for all the money in the company. Do your homework, build your roadmaps, understand your business, look at what needs to be secured first. You can't put your feet everywhere. Okay, you cannot do that. So build your roadmap, build the team that can help you accomplish your roadmap. Okay, this is my advice to you guys. Okay, and when you do that, the attackers can be kept at bay to a large extent. So that is my advice.
Well said. Great. What is your take on zero trust security?
Zero trust is, see, basically, I know zero trust has become a very fancy word. It is basically, you always assume that you are under a cyber attack. That's basically how it is. Okay. So I don't trust anything. I take my laptop, I put it into the LAN tomorrow. So let's say tomorrow I work from the office, I go, I plug it in. The network will ask my laptop, are you a legitimate one? The laptop will say yes. Then show me your credentials. So we have what is called, certificate-based authentication, even for laptops, not just for websites. So, in your LDAP or Active Directory, you can configure that, and most banks do it already, where you take in a company-issued hardware and you plug it into the company network, and the network will not immediately trust it. It will ask for, show me your credentials so that I trust you. So that's where everywhere. So this is just one small example I'm giving you. So for everything coming into your website, so let's say you have a website, you don't trust everybody coming in because hackers can also come in, right? Or you have an e-commerce business and you don't trust anybody. So that's zero trust. I don't trust anybody. I'm always assuming that I am at a state of attack, and I have to ask for the credentials always to make sure that whoever is connecting to me is properly authenticated.
Interesting. Absolutely. On an ending note, Patrick, what do you think will be the top cybersecurity challenges in the next few years? A couple of them.
The top challenges will be, more and more adoption of artificial intelligence. The world is moving so fast. If you are, let's say, again talking about attacks, how fast you react to an attack is the most important aspect there. It is like a person having a heart attack. Okay. When somebody is having a heart attack, the next few seconds are more important than anything else for that person to survive. It is as similar as cyber attacks, heart attack, cyber attack. Now right? Basically, the first few seconds after you detect an attack, or the first few hours, are extremely important. Okay, so manually doing it is going to be very, very difficult as well. So the more you adapt to machine learning, the more you adapt to artificial intelligence, the more you adapt to automatically taking actions if you see something that is out of the ordinary, right? User behavior analysis. Let's say suddenly there is a change in the pattern, and the system will automatically shut it down. You shut it down, check for it, and if it is legitimate, allow it. Okay. So this will be, so the adoption of AI and the adoption of all the other fancy stuff that is coming around, right? Data lakes and machine learning, and this is all going to be key. And as we move towards the metaverse, I don't know when that will happen. Cybersecurity there is going to be extremely important as well. So all this will eventually uh, move us towards that, being ready for that next level of the internet and the next level of virtual reality and all that. So those are the big challenges, I would say. The other challenges are common people adopting into the cyber world, right? Interestingly, yesterday in the radio, I was listening to an ad which was issued in public interest, where there is a phone call somebody receives, and the person on the other side says, "I have to do your KYC. I'm calling from X and X bank. Give me all the details." And the person pauses and says, my bank doesn't call me like that, right? So you have to be aware of it. So on the cyber world, many such what we call phishing and malicious activities keep happening. So common people, common man adopting to the internet, cybersecurity becomes a challenge. So awareness to the common man. Now in the industry, in the corporate world, we are doing a lot of awareness. Are we spreading that awareness to a farmer or a carpenter or a bike mechanic who's also on the internet this day? So that becomes the biggest challenge. Okay, so those are the challenges that we should be looking at. Yeah.
Sure. Interesting. Very well said. And thank you so much for sharing your insights on cybersecurity.